Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Chapter 4.2 Notes, Day 2. Today we're talking about horizontal and vertical lines and linear applications. Our learning target today is to be able to graph horizontal and vertical lines and to be able to interpret and apply linear equations involving real-world applications. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're talking about are vertical lines. Graph the line through the following points: 1, -4, 1, 0, and 1, 2. So let's go ahead and plot those points and see what we get. So 1, -4 is right there, 1, 0, and 1, 2. Let's draw our line. Make sure to add the arrows. And there we go. Okay, so these 3 points had the same x coordinates. Okay, we can see that all right there. Therefore, the equation for this specific line is x equals 1. Equations with an x equals number always create vertical line graphs, okay? And the way that I remember vertical, what direction it is, look at the first letter, okay? The first letter is at V. Whenever I think of that V, I know that it goes up and down, okay? Now, a key thing to remember here is when we look at the x and y axis, okay? An x equals graph crosses the x-axis, okay? It doesn't go along with it, it's the opposite. Okay, when we look at the graph x equals 3, if you pick 3 points and draw them, it only crosses the x-axis, okay? All right, let's move on to the next one. Horizontal lines. Let's go ahead and do the same thing. Let's start graphing the points. We have -4, 1, 0, 1, and 2, 1. So let's graph it, draw the line. Okay, and that's a horizontal line. So these 3 points have the same y coordinate. Therefore, the equation for this specific line is y equals 1. Equations with a y equals and a number always create a horizontal line. Okay, and when I think of the word horizontal, think of that first letter. Okay, it's an H. When you have the capital H, the middle part goes from left to right. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and do some example problems on the bottom. Graph the following equations, and it says to use at least 2 points. So x, y. Let's do a positive number and a negative number. So 2, 5 is right there. 2, -6 is down there. Let's graph the line. And don't forget to draw the arrows. All right, for the next one, x is not by itself. So we have to solve for x. -4 plus 4 is 0. So do a positive number and a negative number. It can be whichever numbers you want. So 0, 3 and 0, -7. Those are our 2 points. And now let's draw the line. And that one is right on the y-axis. Okay? All right, next one. Y is not by itself, so go ahead and solve for y. and you get y equals 9. So we know what y is for each of those. Let's pick a positive and a negative. So negative, positive 3, 9 is all the way up here. And negative 4, 9 is all the way up there. And then let's draw the line. Perfect. All right, let's go and flip it over. Okay, 4, 5, and 6. Let's do 2 of these together, and then the last one's going to be on your own. So we have to solve for x. We're going to add 1/2 plus 1/2. X equals, well, 5 plus 1/2. If we think about that, 1/2 is the same as 0.5. So that would be 5.5. And if we need 2 points, we know x is 5.5. Pick a positive, pick a negative. Okay? So x is 5.5, y is 5, and then negative 5. So we're right in between. And let's draw the line. There we go. And it's kind of hard to see my points, so I'm just going to redraw those in. So it's okay if we get decimals. Don't freak out. All right, so we got to solve for y by subtracting 12 to both sides, and you get 4y equals negative 9. Divide both sides by 4, and we get y equals, let's do this on the side real quick. Negative 9 divided by 4. 4 goes into 9 2 times. Bring down the 0. 4 goes into 10 2 times. You get 8. Let's keep going. And 4 goes into 20 5 times. So y equals 2.25. Okay, so let's make our table real quick so we know the 2 points. Remember, that's a negative 2.25. Let's pick a positive and a negative. So positive 4 and then negative 2.25, kind of do your best. And negative 4 and 2.25. Let's draw that line in. And there we go. All right, so number 6, it's all by your own. Make sure to graph 2 points for that, okay? Okay, and then when you create your tables of values, you can pick any 2 points. No matter what points you pick, you will get the same line as I do because y always equals negative 7. Oh, negative 7. Look at where I drew my line. That's positive 7. Let's go ahead and move it down to negative 7. There we go. Okay, applications of linear equations. What we have now is we're going to have these word problems and we're going to have to figure out everything and solve and answer the question. So let's go ahead and start reading. Number 7 says it costs a company $15 per DVD player they produce. The total cost of making the DVD player is 150 DVD players is $3,625. The linear equation that represents the situation is y equals 15x plus 1,375. Now, before we get started with some of these things, we need to know what x equals and what y equals. So, x is the DVDs. Okay, and we know that because right here it says $15 per DVD. Since those go together, we know that that's what they are. And y is talking about the money, the total cost, okay? So for part A, it says how much would it cost the company to make 40 DVDs? So we know that the DVDs is the X, so that's what we're going to plug in. And now off to the side, we need to do 15 times 40. You don't need to multiply the zeros out. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So you get a total of 600. Okay, and when you add that up with 1375, if you need to do the work off to the side, please do so. We get a grand total of $1,975. Okay, on the next one, it says how many DVDs players could the company make with $4,600? Okay, so this, they're telling us the Y. So the 4,600 comes over here, and the rest of the equation stays the same. Okay, now we're solving for x. So we have to subtract that to both sides. We need to borrow, that turns to a 5, a 9, and a 10. And we get 3,225 equals 15x. To solve, we have to divide both sides by 15. And we need to do that over here. Okay, does 15 go into 3? No, but does it go into 30? Yes. Now you guys should be using your multiplication charts for this to help you out. Okay, subtract, and you get 2. Bring the 2 down. 22, how many times does 15 go into 22? 1 time. Subtract, and bring down the 5. And now how many times does 15 go into 75? That is 5 times. So with this, if the company had $4,600, they could make 215 DVD players. All right. The value of a car decreases with time. In 2002, Paige's car was worth $9,800. In 2006, it is worth $6,500. The linear equation that represents this situation is y equals negative 825x plus 11,450, where x equals 0 represents 2,000. So instead of using these really large numbers, when they're talking about the year 2000, that's what 0 is. So when we're talking about what was the car worth in 2004, x is going to equal 4. So all we have to do is plug in 4, and then we can find how much the car is worth. Now, off to the side, we have to show our work. 825 times 4. 4 times 5 is 0. Carry the 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 2 is 0. And then 4 times 8 is 32. Plus 1 is 33. And that's negative. So negative $300,300 plus 11,450. And now we have to combine those two numbers. And that's subtracting. So 0, 5, 1, and then 8. So the total of the car after 4 years would be $8,150. Okay, last one. A rental car company charges a flat fee of 13 cents per mile driven. Kelly drove 210 miles and was charged $75.30. The linear equation that represents the situation is y equals 0.13x plus 48. How much would the same company charge Kelly if she drove 125 miles? So what we have to do is plug in 125 for x, and then we're going to get our grand total. So off to the side, 125 times 0.13. Let's go ahead and do the multiplication. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, and 3. Carry the 0, or bring the 0 down for the place value. Multiply the 1 across, and then add up your numbers. 7 plus 5 is 12, 6. So we get y equals 16. Ooh, hold on, $1,625. That's not right. Remember that there needs to be a decimal right there. Okay, and now we have to add that number to 48, and you get 5, 2, decimal, 4. So the grand total for that would be $64.25. Okay, so when we're doing these linear applications and trying to figure everything out, make sure you know what they're asking for. Okay, they're being really nice and telling you what the formula is, which is being very helpful for us. So just know if what they're asking us to plug in for the x or for the y. Okay? All right, well, that's it for Algebra 2, Chapter 4.2 Notes, Part 2. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Thanks for watching, guys.